Okay, this is another checkpoint film for game and development synSpace drone runners. I have 4 tablets. We're using a map that I'm developing right now I hope will turn into the tutorial map. My 6P is still loading. It's got a bug that causes it to take a minute to load. The 2 7-inch Kindles on the side are in world, floating around. And this guy has just connected to the server. Well, I guess he hasn't yet. So we will pick a server to connect to, and the server we will connect to is going to be this one that has those 2 other people. And notice that they're using a map that I do not have a copy of. So I'm going to say I want to explore the star map anyway. And that connects me to the server instance. And I can see information about them as they appear. So I just found out about Tangri, and I just found out about Plank. And it's also, it's at the same time, it's giving me the backstory for this planet from the star map and encouraging me to join. Now, before I join, I'm just a spectator, and if I tap on one of the other player's thumbs, then what it does is it takes my camera to orbit their ship. So this guy is flirting with this star, so that's actually not a star, that's a planet. It's a fully formed battle planet. Anyway, so I'm flying him with his control stick over on the left here, but the center guy, the new guy, is just spying on him. And if I tap on the blue thumb, now I'm spying on the blue guy. So if I fly him around now, maybe fire his weapon a little bit. Okay, so that's how spying works, but now I've decided I'm going to be the red guy. So I tap red, and it brings up my last known settings. So my name is Crindle89. The star is my current buddy badge, and when the badge is a star, it means it's you. You're always the star of your own game. These other guys, you can see on their thumbs, they don't have any buddy badges. So it's like maybe I've never met them before. This thumb has a crown on his head, which tells me he's the moderator of this instance. So there's some responsibilities that are carried out only by the moderator. Devil is my rank, and you start off as fodder and you work your way up, and Devil's pretty good. And then what it's asking me to do right now is personalize myself. So before I launch into the game, before other people, experience me, they don't see my thumb yet. I'm sorry, they do see my thumb, and they see it with my most recently used information. But if I wanted to, I could change my face to something else. And if I wanted to, I could edit my face. You just pick a color and start ruining something. Pick another color, ruin it a little more. One more color for the final ruination. Okay, but we won't save this. Looks like we saved it, but we didn't really. And we're not even going to push use. We're gonna cheat. We're gonna push the back arrow. There, it never happened. But same thing for the shell. I really like this shell. This is like the first shell I drew. But these are basically all the shells that I've encountered while playing, basically with these other tablets. And we'll go ahead and use this shell. And then your ship the power of your ship comes from how many shield pods, weapon pods, and engine pods it has. And you start off, you're given 6 flexi pods, which you can allocate as you like. And I generally like to boost my engines. This control's a little funky, but if you tap on the thing you want, it'll give you more of that. You can also kind of estimate by area of triangle and tap, like if I tap way up there, most of the areas in the bottom are for engines. Yeah, it's weird, but it's what I like. So once I'm configured, once I'm personalized, and note that I have a G language rating. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so I launch. the thing is in text chat, which does exist. Hello. And the other players did not. Oh, okay. See, it scrolls along the top. That guy saw it scrolling along the top. If you don't have your keyboard open, you don't see the you don't see this text. You only see the marquee text. So you can leave this off most of the time. So tap this on and off. It goes on and off. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, okay, fine. So anyway, so here I am in world. I'm the red ship, and I can steer myself with my nav stick. If I touch it, you can see a little picture of my ship that gets big. If I drag it to the left, I just start turning to the left. If I keep it closer to the center, I turn more slowly. Now I'm going to go to the right. Oops, I gave a little engine. Go to the right. And I'm turning slowly to the right. And I'm going to pick up this power up. Blink. Got it. So now this was blinking because I just picked up another engine pod. So I had 4, and now I have 5. And I have room for 3 more. You probably can't see that. When you start the game, you have whatever your 6 pods were, and then you have room for 4 more of each pod. So if you gave all 6 of your pods to a single category, you could get a total of 10 in that category. And if you ever achieve 10 in a category, then you are twice as strong in that category as if you had no pods. So that's the difference that pods make. Let's see. I don't want to do that quite yet. So that's driving around, and a lot of the game is just picking up power-ups. And if you get anything good, like there I got a warp coil, it's down there ready for me to use it. Now, sometime along the way, I picked up this encrypted star map, so I'm going to just decrypt that. When you first get the game, only a small number of maps are unlocked, but you pick up these encrypted star map power-ups, and then you try to decrypt them, and if you're successful, then you can learn another map. And there's, I will say, dozens of maps included. I won't say there. Hey, new map. Oh yeah, map designers like to make little jokes, and this one made the joke of calling it unknown map. I think. It's not a bug. Oh, well, that wouldn't tell me. Oh, well, tell me here. Huh. No, I think that was a bug. Okay. Well, we'll have to look into that. Uh-oh. Somebody fell in. Oh, no. See, I've added planets now in addition to stars. But it doesn't understand that a planet can kill you. It's really the same thing. It's just a little image, of course. But on this star map, there are some imprisoned, some enslaved miners on that planet. And we're going to ultimately rescue them. Hey, there's the blue guy. So we'll just start shooting at random. I've got bullets. So this is my trigger over here. Steering, trigger. And when you fire whatever weapon you... Here, I need to bring this guy back. You fire whatever weapon is selected. So right now I'm selected on the simple bullets. Oh, almost hit him. These are mines. And I don't know if you can see them, but they're left behind in my wake. There, you can kind of see them there. And here they're acting as a way to sort of map out my orbit, which you can see decays pretty drastically. And it will suck you, it will suck you in and kill you. Though there is no death, you are flying a drone spaceship. Excuse me. Okay, those are my own mines, so they won't hurt me. In general, whether or not your own weapons hurt you is a function of, oh, I found a concealed trap. That did hurt me. This is my life meter. When you get hurt, you see little bars peel off of that. When it runs out, you die. And as I was about to say, you're flying a drone, so you're not dying. You're a million, zillion, billion light years away. So you're safe. There's no death in this game. Now, while I'm playing, you'll remember before when I tapped on them, I was spying on them. If while I'm playing, as opposed to just being a spectator. When I tap on them, I get more information about them. For example, this guy is also a G-rated player. This guy's a G-rated player. And this guy's a PG-rated player. Okay? And that means he's used just enough vulgarity in his chat that I've upped his language rating. So that's how you get your language rating. By using vulgarity, you'll earn a higher, a more vulgar language rating. And then where that comes in important is in my options. No, I didn't want to show you that yet. In my options, I have this thing called show text in social, and I have mine set to all, so I'm willing to look at all text. But if I like, I can turn it off. It defaults to off, but I can set it to just G. So now, when I turn, sorry, I'm a little blind. When I turn this on, I should hear everybody but the PG rated player. So this guy is a G rated player, so he says something. And did I do something wrong? Oh, no, he's the PG rated player, sorry. That guy's PG, and I did not see him. This guy is G, I think. What color is he? He's the green guy. Oh, he's not even on the same server. Okay. For this experiment to work, I need another G player. There. He is a G player. Okay, that is interesting. It's totally interesting. Okay, so my point is to mothers out there that yes, there is text chat. It defaults to off. Your child can turn it on. If your child uses vulgarity, he will get a language rating which will make it more difficult for him to be seen by the other people. So your bad child is statistically less likely to create more degenerates. So that's my guarantee to parents that I will protect other kids from your kids. That was just a joke. I'm sorry, parents. I'm a parent myself. I know your kids are the best kids because I know my kids are. Although my kids are not particularly kids anymore. They're young people. What else did I want to show you other than everything? So we've kind of implied that this is the button bar. There's different kinds of weapons. There's different kinds of defensive things. There's different kinds of stuff. And every star map you go to, the map designer can create additional things. I showed you the personalizations. I should show you just all the buttons. Okay, so for example, we talked about buddy badges. I used to call these buddy hats, but since I wanted to render that moderator crown on top, I couldn't render these guys on top, so they became badges, and you wear them kind of on your chest. They don't really mean anything. They're just a way for you to categorize people you meet. You know, if you like somebody, maybe you put a heart on them, or you put a shield on them, or if you're afraid of somebody, you put a bones on them. I don't know. But the only one that has any real significance is mutant. If you put a mutant hat on somebody, then in addition to wearing the... I'm going to put a bones on this guy because everybody wants to be bones. So now you see, I don't know if you can see it probably actually, but there's a little skull icon. His badge, his buddy badge. But anyway, did I ever get so far as to actually complete my thought that I will mute them? You will not see their text, no matter what their language rating is. So that's how you just kind of turn someone off if they've just upset you too much, or you want to keep playing. And let's see, what else is there? Oh, there's pinch zoom. And if you pinch zoom and go all the way out, the galaxy gets really small. And you're just in a star system, generally. There's only one. Well, there can be up to 16 stars in a star system. I've never seen one with 16 stars, at least not 16 visible stars. And there's some little background stars there that are just to give you the sense of 3D depth, though they can also take part in a scripted adventure. And other commands are, I can target somebody. So I'm going to set this green guy as my target, and then I'm going to pick homing missiles, and then I'm going to launch. First of all, I'm going to bring, here's the green tablet, and he's just having a busy day. La 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 la. Oh, look, I found an encrypted star map. I will try to decrypt it. And while he's doing that, I have targeted him, and I will now launch my homing missile. And there it goes. And he's going, oh, I'm just decrypting my star map. La 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 la. Oh, here's another power-up. I'll go pick that up. I'm having the best day ever. This is fantastic. Oh, what's that? Maybe it will be my friend. No, it was not my friend, and I lost the majority of my life. And I'm going like, well, who would have done that? Well, there's only one other guy here. Well, he doesn't seem very friendly at all. Let's target him. Why, let's launch. Oh, look, I have 8 missiles. I have 8 missiles. I'll launch all of them. Oh, sorry, I have to select them first. I will launch all of them. Wait, it only launched 2 and said insufficient charge. But quick, let's go back over to this guy. I am not afraid because I have 3 shields. Oh god, they're not going to last long enough. Okay, did I get both of them already? Okay, so now he's mad at me. And we go into classic. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to kill him with regular old bullets. Now I say kill. Sorry, it's not really killing. Destroying his drone. Anyway, I probably cost him a couple of ratings points. And I probably earned myself a couple of ratings points. And I probably incremented my 1 column, and he probably incremented his lost column. Another button here is pings. This is how you tell how good your connection is. So I am the red player. My red pings are always, perfect. But you can see in these green pings, you can see they're not perfectly spaced. There are places where they are a little like there. They're not. Now this is actually very good, and the game engine handles that amount of variation very well. But sometimes you'll just see the data just stop, like on all channels but yours, which lets you know it's your Wi-Fi that's screwed up. And then eventually it recovers, and since I'm using TCP/IP, it doesn't actually lose any information, and all the missed packets appear all at once. And the game engine does its best to hide that from you. But anyway, if you're worried about it, that's how you do it. Pings. Target, spy on. So as a spectator, we could spy on them just by tapping on their thumb, but I can spy on you by doing this also. So again, that's not my ship. I'm the red ship. What's that? Is that the red ship going by? Yeah, that's funny. I'm the dead blue ship now. I'm spying on the dead blue ship. So let's bring the dead blue ship back to life. And am I still spying on him? I guess not. And there he is. And I can still pinch zoom. Oh, and if I want a different camera angle, you can simultaneously hold down this camera button and then slide your nav stick. And then, since I'm no longer behind my ship, the camera's no longer behind, if you tap that button, it snaps you behind. But what you might like to do, since you're pinch zooming, is if you use 3 fingers and then drag down, you'll change the, I don't know if you can see the angles changing. That's straight up. I do it kind of slowly. And then this flattens out. Okay, so now you can see the horizon. And again, 3 fingers. And some people like to, they don't like a top-down view. You can't zoom back too far. You'll start losing data if you zoom back too far. It's both by design, like it's cheating to let you see too far, but also It's just the way my math works. That red line, so this is my compass, this circle around me. Oh, let's snap behind me again. The red line is the direction I'm going. So I'm facing this direction, but I'm going that direction. When I add in energy, when I turn on my forward engines, I'm adding energy in the direction I'm facing, which will make me want to go more north, and so you'll see my red line will go more north. And by north, I just mean up on the screen. And if I just turn to the direction I want to be going and apply engine, I mean, there's not a lot of thought required. And back engine slows me down. And stop stops me instantly, but takes a lot of charge. It's cheat. If you really want to stop, ooh, that might hurt. If you want to stop, you should face your motion and hit back. And you can tell from your little smoke cloud whether or not you're still drifting and the direction you're drifting in. So you can actually come to a pretty complete stop this way. But it probably won't be perfect. And then you can use the stop button if you really need to not be drifting. But stopping is pretty much a guarantee of getting destroyed soon, so you probably don't want to stop all that much. And I prefer... Is it working? Yeah. I prefer... I prefer the default setting, obviously. Okay. What else? Okay, so I think we're up to the social key. So this is the social button, and when you tap it, first of all, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So yes, you can tap text, you can send it, it scrolls here, it scrolls there. There's a spam filter, there's a vulgarity filter. In addition to the text chat, there's also this microphone vocoder thing that's actually kind of weird and strange, and it's not fully implemented into the game yet. But basically, it records from the microphone. La 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 la. I'm talking to the microphone. I'm talking to the microphone. I'm not very loud, so it's not going to be a particularly exciting recording. And then I stop recording. And the idea is that it's recorded the spectrum. Ooh, that's a little loud. Sorry. Okay, so here how you can kind of hear my voice in there. Yeah, so the idea is that it records it's not just recording the samples. I mean, you see the samples here, and I could just record those and play them back if that was my goal, but that's not my goal. My goal is to break time up into tiny segments and then come up with an acoustic spectrum of what musical frequencies were present at that time. And notice I don't test for all frequencies. I only test for frequencies of the Western chromatic scale. And there's a little keyboard here, kind of giving you an idea of where they are. And middle C is right about there. And if you want to hear what a note is, just tap up there. It leaves behind a little green marker, so that's what that note sounds like. Anyway, and then the idea is that I can use this for various purposes. But one of the things, and you can see some YouTube videos about this, is I'm experimenting with real-time transcription of live musical performance to a recorded groove, which isn't going to really make any sense, but I'm going to destroy these samples now, just to make that go away. And then, anyway, so ultimately, one mode of this will be a distorted voice chat. So probably I'll make it so when you hold the button down and talk, it'll broadcast your voice. But it's not going to be your actual voice, because I just don't trust you. I'm sorry. You're going to say awful things, and I'm going to feel bad. So instead of transmitting your voice, I transmit something that loosely couples to your voice in a way that I hope, A, sounds kind of cool, and B, carries kind of the emotional content of your phrase without the semantic content. Without the words. Yeah, sort of a Charlie Brown adult voice kind of effect. Although the real thing, my gold standard, is this toy from Worlds of Wonder many years ago called AG Bear. It had the best kind of fake voice that I'd like to have. But anyway, so that's under development still. And then there's this guy, the piano. And we'll turn the volume back up a little bit. And I do not yet ever have you just playing in real time to other people unsolicited, although that's certainly on the list. And the idea here is there are a bunch of instruments, but they only exist because you made them or your friends made them and you've collected them. But if you want to make a new instrument, you start with an existing instrument, and then you start playing with these 6 envelope generators and these 9 harmonic oscillators and these 4 special effect thingamabobbies. And the idea is that when you when you tap a key, you trigger all of these envelope generators. Then various things are following them. So for example, this harmonic oscillator, number 1, the fundamental frequency, is green right now because it is following this selected envelope generator. If I pick the second envelope generator, it's not green. These guys are green. So the second envelope generator is controlling the time varying amplitude of all of these harmonics. So what's happening here is the primary is coming up really fast and holding pretty strong and holding and then falling. This point here is the release point. This particular instrument has sustain, so if I hold the key down, it will continue making a note, and we're at this point here, this point between the green and the red. That's our amplitude right now, and when we let go, it'll ramp down quickly to 0. But at the same time, the higher harmonics, let's say, are going to start off much weaker and end up at the hold point being much louder. So remember what that sounded like before. I don't know if you can hear that little wah at the beginning, and that's this effect. I can make it a little more noticeable if I make it longer, which I could do by just literally making it longer. Or I can come over to the knobs and I can change the overall width of the contour generator to a longer value. And I can also make it really short. I can add reverb. And the reverb, you can have a wet reverb where there's a lot of feedback. Oops. Why did that not want to go? And if I anyway, it's kind of fun. I don't know if you could hear that. For percussion, my synthesizer, I could never get my synthesizer to really do good percussion all on its own. So I finally just kind of gave up and went with a public domain sound set. And if an instrument has percussion turned on, then it becomes the percussion instrument, and basically all percussion instruments are the same, and the keys you play now play different percussive things. And that brings us then, so we have this list of instruments that we've made, but we can also make songs. And so this is a bunch of little songs we've made, and they're called grooves. And a groove contains multiple tracks, up to 4 tracks. And if I zoom in on a track, you can, I don't have pans, sorry. If I zoom in on a track, you can kind of see that it's not MIDI per se, but here you can see a change of 3 chords, chord. If I play it, you'll see 3 notes held, and then so that's a song. Now, in addition to tracks, which are just things that you played, there's also these things called loops, and they just are a repeating pattern. So that one sounds like that. This one sounds like this. If I play them both at once, anyway, so and then you can record that and then make a new groove, and then you can add tracks to go along with it. So you can have like a rhythm track, or you can have multiple rhythm tracks. Anyway, and for each of these guys, like this one, you can see these little green squares are there. So it's a 16-step loop. There are 15 loops. This is loop 1. This funky number underneath is a hexadecimal value representing these 16 bits. You can adjust stress, and you can play any note into it. If I were in record mode, say, is it going to save this? No, it's not going to. So let's say I want to just right here have a drum hit, and have another drum hit here, and have another drum hit here, another drum hit here. I'm in record mode. Oh, I'm selected on horn. Okay, this is a little weird. I've edited my horn, but I didn't save it. And this thing is playing the original horn instrument, not my modified percussive version. To save it, I would have had to, while I had it, modified, I would come over here and I'd say clone. And what that does is it takes the instrument that you started with, plus the modifications you've made to it, and it creates a new instrument of, let's just say, horn perk. And we'll say clone it. So now we have a new instrument called horn perk, which isn't in horn at all, because it's got the percussion stuff. But anyway, so now it's selected, and so now when I do this, it'll really... Will it? Well, this is interesting, but just to show off, I can do this. I've got this pre-existing groove. No, I don't. What am I saying? What am I recording that for? Overload. Anyway, the point is that you can turn these off. You can make little funky little looping songs, and you can have easy songs where you're just performing turning the loops on and off, and you can have more complicated songs where you're actually trying to play music. But the end goal of it all is to create a groove. And okay, so here's, how good is this? Probably not very good. So in theory, this was live voice being sampled, but this is old, so this is going to be really bad. So anyway, what I should point out is my goal again is not to create a device that you play Alanis Morissette into and then you get an illegal copy of Alanis Morissette MIDI or something, because it's just not going to be good enough for that. But I want it to be able to be easy for someone with low musical skills, such as myself, to be able to generate content which is predictably in key and may be inspirational, and then you may jam along to that. You know, it may be filled with all sorts of nasty notes, and I'll probably provide some additional editing so that you can just delete the nasty notes. But you may literally have more fun just playing along with it, and then adding. For example, if I say record, I'm just recording a new track right now. So I'm listening to the original track, but now I'm playing along with it, and I can change my instrument. And I can go over here actually, and I can change to the instrument I like. These are just shortcuts. If I wanted to change a shortcut, I would pick the instrument I wanted, and then I would long press one of these slots, kind of like a car radio, and it would remember. It would be a shortcut then to that instrument. Anyway, so that's the music subsystem, and the purpose of the music subsystem is really to allow star map authors to add interesting little bits of music here and there, and hopefully there will be some skilled people who will be able to make some actually nice sounding instruments and nice sounding. Wow, I've still got the defective face. I never saved that. That's interesting. Okay. I used to have that problem with the shell, and then I realized what I was doing wrong, but apparently I never noticed I had the same problem with the face. Although I kind of like it, but I mean, other people, like this guy who's on the server with me, he doesn't see the modified face. This was just a local mod. And what else is there to show you? There's a party system, which is kind of freaky. So I am the red player, as evidenced by the fact that most of my controls are in red. I can select the blue player, and I can invite him to my party. Okay, now the blue player, he sees my red thumb blinking and a little exclamation point. That means there's a notification from that player. So I tap on him, and the only real notifications right now is that he's invited me. I will accept his invitation. Blanc. And now I am following him. So he is the red player. I'm the blue player. The red player is following the blue player. So I now see myself as a party leader, and I see him as they follow me. And in both cases, I see a little picture of our party here. So what good is it to be in a party, especially when you already have this complicated team set up? I don't know if I talked about that, but the 4 thumbs on the left and the 4 thumbs on the right are natural team differentiation. And the way the star map works is, on the star map, you, the star map developer, declare this map is a team map or not. And if it is, how many teams are there? And your choices are 1, everybody's working together, it's against a common enemy. 2, which is west versus east. 4, which is northwest, 2 players of northwest, 2 players of northeast, 2 players of southeast, 2 players of southwest. Or 8, everybody's in on it themselves, but they do represent a team. So some sports like capture the flag require teams. So you could have an 8 flag capture the flag game where there were 8 teams. A little weird. But then in addition to that, I've given you this stupid party system. And the real reason is that all of this work that I've done in synSpace is really in development to be ported to Rune Runners, which is my Will of Souls clone for Android. And I want that to be a 3D story making game as it was on, 3D this time, 2D on Windows. So I'm just, developing it here because the light's better, as it were. And over there, I'll definitely need a party system. And over here, I don't really need a party system. But what I'm going to use it for is something that is larger than a single server instance. So these teams, they only take effect while I'm in the server instance. But a party could live on, and I'm thinking that if nothing else, if the leader goes to another star map, the followers, either automatically or with a pop-up, do you want to, will follow him to that new server. So you can form a party, and then you can kind of visit server after server after server, which will be great for marauding team gangs of griefers. But this is a PvP game, so you're only going to enjoy it in multiplayer if you can tolerate PvP. Although the maps can have everybody on the same team, in which case you can't hurt each other, so it's not really PvP in that context. So you can totally have safe experiences and unsafe experiences. And that's got to be a very long film. So thank you very much, and I hope I covered the whole game to some degree. Oh, you know what? I haven't covered it all yet? Options. So, did I turn that back on? I don't remember turning that back on. Showed frames per second off. Huh, that was weird. It was definitely showing the frames per second, wasn't it? Even though I don't think they were on. So many bugs. Anyway, options button. 3 categories of options: general, nerd, and star map. General, you can reopen that handbook if you think it has some information in it that might help you. You can reconnect to the drone, which in this really means reconnect to the server instance. You can inset the joysticks. On some devices, you may find it more comfortable to have the joysticks here instead of down there. Got to always have a firm grip on your phone. Let's see, and it does run on phones. This is a phone. Look at me, I'm running. In theory, you can, if you turn off the vocoder, this has changed a little bit recently, and so it's a little odd, but notice now the vocoder does not appear as an option. And piano did appear. So, my thought was, why give you buttons that you never want to use? And this page for these two was that. And also, if you're nervous about what I might be doing with your microphone data, and you should be, any app that is recording your microphone, I try to show you when I'm doing it, and you have my assurance that I'm only doing it for good reasons. But hold me to that promise. But anyway, this is your way to comfortably opt out of that. In theory, even if the button shows up, which I don't want it to, and now it doesn't. Very strange. So I have some dust to sweep up around here. But my point is, I want you to be able to turn certain modes completely off if you have no interest in them. If nothing else, the microphone stuff's kind of expensive computationally, so it can lag you out. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to play with. And that's pretty much it for that. For the nerd options, this is another way of opening that ping window. And sometimes I am doing other little research work like this. The stuff along the top here is actually important stuff to me. There's a little experiment in automatic music composition. It's composing this on the fly. Okay, if I turn it off, it's still going to keep going for another 64 notes or so. There's a back. I should need to do this in character at some point, but there's a backstory to this game that is sort of carried on by that website. Oh yeah, and if you're a hacker or a world developer, the script windows is really useful because, for one thing, it lets you see the source code of the script, and if there's an error, it will tell you the line number the error is in. And then you can go over here and confirm that line number and then go back to your source, which is probably a text file on your Google Drive. And try and figure out what it is. It'll give you the line number. It'll tell you something like syntax error. But it may not actually be a syntax error so much as